Okay, so I'm trying to cover research both in med school as well as the whole USMLE pathways for people who want to take up USMLEs. If there are people who want to take up UK pathways or Australian pathways, I am sorry, I have no idea how, like, what's the research scenario over there. In med school, I personally started. Sorry, is everything okay? Yeah. Okay. So in med school, I personally started concentrating on research sometime around fourth year because in my second and third year, I was studying for my step one exam. And I was like, I had this plan where I was going to finish my step one and then do research for the rest of my MBBS. And then once I graduate, I was sure I was going to go for research years. Yeah. But if you're like well versed with research methodologies and all in your first year itself, and you have these, scholarship programs sometimes countrywide for all med schools, like they give you a scholarship and they're like, they give you so and so money, you can conduct this project. There are some med schools itself who like compulsorily make all their students do a project from their second year. If that's the case, you can start as early as possible, like because research is like kind of a long-term commitment. So the earlier you start, the better it is. It does help if you've given your step one, because studying for step one is itself a big task. You don't want to be distracted with research, going to the patients and collecting data, and there's like a whole lot of stuff work to do, right? Yeah. And finding research in med school, like how to start, where to start. First thing is, first year, second years, we're all very young. We have no idea what's the subject, what we should do, what are new cases, what's a novel idea, because anything and everything we read about is new to us. That's the case, right? Go find a faculty who's research oriented, more like there are criterias for promotions within medical professionals, like professor. To get to professorship, they need to have, I think, so and so publications, so and so CME credit points, and then like teaching hours and like that. So I like to catch people who just graduated their postgraduates, like the residency. So I met a person. She finished her general surgery residency just 5 months ago, and she was a new attending. And she was like looking for people to do research with, because she was hoping that in her next 2 years, if she has enough papers, she can soon apply for like professorship and stuff and get promotions, or even get a government job, something like that. So luckily, she and we both met, and we were very good to go from the start. And we started publishing papers. Like within 2 weeks, we were ready with our first paper. And it kickstarted so well. I am so thankful for her as a mentor. Like that, you will have to find specific people in internal medicine, in general surgery, in pediatrics, like that, so that like they can help you, because they are very important. Without them, finding a topic to do research on will be difficult, because if you're too young, like first year, second year, third year, around final year, hopefully you've gained enough knowledge that you're able to do it on your own. You can publish papers on your own, like literature reviews. You take one topic and then you do all the research, all the papers that's there out in PubMed, and then like write up a review and be like, this is the summary of this topic. That is very good, and you can submit it. But the thing is, again, journals might ask you who's the senior author, and you can say that you've shown it to your mentors and they're all okay, and that's mostly accepted. If it's a paid journal, well, you have to like single-handedly process the application, like the article processing fee, right? So that is a bit of a downside. Otherwise, it's more than enough if you find one mentor and then you stick with them, and they'll like guide you through like 2-3 papers, and then you're good to go on your own. That's more than enough. Yeah, the thing is, if they're like recent graduates, they probably have their I'm not sure if in Pakistan the PGs, the residents have to submit a thesis. They had to, like, it's compulsory in all residencies. So they all had at least one thesis. That means that was one fully done research project, right? And as soon as they finished their PGs, they're like waiting to publish that. I got on to my mentor and she was able to publish her thesis and then her friend's thesis. I think we published around 3 theses like that. So that was like a, I don't know, I was searching for gold, I got a diamond, like that kind of situation. Yeah. And oh yeah, like try and set up PubMed email alerts for specific topics that you guys like, so that like at least it's not like let me take like this. It cannot be in all papers in internal medicine or all papers in cardiology in internal medicine. It has to be specific topic, like at least one specific disease, so that whenever you like read the papers, look at their authors, see if those people are within like your locality, do you know them or something like that, and reach out to them. It helps like that, so that you will keep seeing the same authors repeating again and again, you'll get to know their work. And like it might makes you learn the kind of writing that author follows, or like the kind of writing the specific journal follows. It will help you like hone your manuscript writing skills. It helps. It's something I learned over here. Yeah. IRB or IEC in med school. So institutional review boards, and then institutional ethics committee in med school. Usually they have cyclical meetings, like 6 months biannual, 6 months once, like that. They have meetings where like they accept abstracts or like project ideas, and then they have a meeting where they like have one of the PIs presented to them, and then the board reviews it, asks them questions on the stage, and in within a week or two, they'll give you the results. Sometimes they'll give you corrections, and then they'll like it's accepted or not accepted, right? So you'll have to, at least in my med school, it happened biannually. There are med schools that have that like taken abstracts whenever like they get submitted. It's not like we have a meeting only 6 months once, and only that time we'll review all the applications. You can submit it anytime you want if that's the case. And that way you have to like, that's the only thing is you cannot be the PI in that. It has to be your mentor. It has to be like a professor or a staff, like one of the doctors, because PIs are like, there are certain criteria to be a PI, right? That is why it is very important to find a mentor. Even like if you are like, I want to do a project on my own, you can't go ahead with that. So like when, if you do find a PI, they're not going to be like, okay, I'll get the IRB approval and then you can do the data collection. It's not going to be like that, because they're very busy and it's our future. So they'll tell you to write up the application. They'll tell you to like submit it, do the work, all the backstage work. So you have to learn the, every med school, they might have, the IRB board will have a certain format, like they'll have a few forms to fill up, get those forms, get those empty forms, fill them up. And then like at a time, I was applying to 4 5 IRB. So I had like, each application was for a different project, right? So save them all in different folders, complete them, and then make sure you get the signatures. Usually it goes like this. First, your PI has to sign it, and then they send it to the department chair or head of the department. They have to sign it, and then you submit it to the IRB, get those signatures specifically. Sometimes the HODs might not like the project, or like they'll be like, you shouldn't be with this PI. All that drama happens within the department. Get through that, and then you have to see what are the documents that are required. IRB, IECs, they require a lot of ethical documents like consent forms. How are you going to handle the data? What's the confidentiality statement that you're going to provide? All that stuff, right? So please make sure you know what you're doing. Make the documents ready, because once you submit to IRB, first round they'll reject your paper saying you don't have this and this, and it's, you can't proceed with the project itself. Like at least they need to be able to go through your abstract proposal. What's your project idea, right? If you don't have these proper documents itself, they'll reject. And then like it's again the second, if you have to wait another 6 months to apply again, it goes like that. So make sure you apply with the proper documents. It's for case reports and all, you don't need your IRB or IECs mostly, because they're all single case reports. Usually if the patient has consented saying that they're okay with sharing their images, de-identified images and all, it's good to go. It's only when you're involving data collection from patients, or it involves anything regarding to like interaction with patients, you need IRB. So with systematic reviews, meta-analysis and all, you don't have to get worry about IRB. I hope that's clear. The IEC process in my med school was kind of like I was used to it, so I was able to go through it fast. If you're like once or twice, if you observe the cycle, you work with a senior on it, I think you will be able to go through it easily too. Again, it was because my PGs had to like give their thesis. So within their first year, they were all submitting their IRBs, and I would help them do that. That's how I learned it. If you guys also have something like that in Pakistan, like where your PGs have to submit thesis, so they get their IEC and IRB approvals, sit with them, learn with them, because they will have classes just to teach them what is IRB, IEC, what's bio, what kind of stats they have to think about while they're like deciding their the number of study participants and all that. So it really helps to like join with them for this. Okay, collaborations. Let's see. If you don't find a mentor, or if you do find a mentor, but it's just the two of you, it's again not going to be that great, because you will have to do all the work. Your mentor is just going to be someone who teaches you everything, right? So it's probably best if you find a bunch of friends who are all interested in the same thing like you, and then go ahead with like divide the work. Let's see. Form a group where it's only internal medicine, or just general surgery, or pediatrics, or neurology, or whatever. And then you guys are like, have within the group, have five people as cohorts, because make sure you check the author guidelines for each journal. Some have a restriction on the number of authors that you can submit for. Excuse me. Like case reports, most journals, they only accept around 5 authors, but original research projects, they go up to like 20 authors, no problem, because it's like that. So if that's the case reports, you need to have a Excel sheet kind of thing, like I don't know how to say. We had an Excel sheet where all the projects will be listed, and then we'll have stages in which the projects are in. Someone's name will be in each stage, saying that I'm looking at this, I'm doing this today, like that. Every day, or at least weekly, we'll try to update the chart. That was our common shared document. And our mentor will keep a look on it, and she'll make sure that all of us are doing whatever work we were given. And the results, we keep sharing it within the group, saying that this was done today, this was not done today, we were able to like collect the data, no patients came in today, something like that. It helps if like the juniors, if the first, second years want to do research, and they're like not that proficient with the subject or like the methodology, they can help with data collection. That's the only thing that juniors can do, because that's something the seniors won't have time to do, and the juniors don't have to like read up so much to do that. And then like data analysis and all, you'll have to like find someone to do, or like within your group, if you have someone to do, well and good. Otherwise, you'll have to again find a statistician within your med school who would help you out, and have them always as a contact, so that is the major collaboration you'll have to do with the statistician. They'll have to decide your number of participants, they'll decide your statistical results and everything, right? Yeah. Other than that, if you don't have like a research group within your med school, or if you do, but you want to like reach out to outside your med school, cold emails. Send out cold emails starting from other faculty, other colleges or med schools where there are other amazing authors that you want to work with, like you have seen their papers, you have seen their work, you like them, you've been following them for a while. Put it all in the email saying, I've loved your work, I've been following you for a while. I don't know, I aspire to like work on the specific niche like you. So your work, I need to learn from you. So I want to work with you. Send them emails. They might be willing to work with you, and that's like within the country, this might be very great. Try and reach out to local authors of textbooks, like chapter authors or someone, and then reach out to them saying that you would like to help them with any book that they're working on right now. Believe me, it will get you results from somewhere, and you will be surprised, because Suddenly you will be an author on a book chapter in a textbook. They'll be like, if it's a single author chapter, they'll be like, you know what, do this chapter, do this work for me, and I'll add you as a second author. That's it. That's very nice. That's like a huge add to your CV, because they're like, I don't know, 50 or 60-year-old professor, he's like, I don't care if my name's on the book or not anymore. I'm like, what am I going to achieve after this? But if someone's coming up and if their name gets to be on the chapter, and if it's going to be a huge growth for them, let me help out. There are people like that, good people, they will help you out like that. So reach out to them through cold emails. If you've been like doing this within the country and you've had good results, it's time to expand outside the country. Reach out to people. It need not be just Americans, US, like immigrants who have come to US, just like you're planning to do. It can be anybody around the world. Australians, UK people, anybody, and they'll let you work. So it all like adds to your experience. It's like you worked with people from all over the world. It's nice to have that kind of scene in your application than just saying I only concentrate on networking with US people. That's like it was very single pathway kind of thing. So reach out to people from all over the world. It will give you so much experience with writing and improving your language, improving the way you want to like come describe your results and everything. Other than this, I have seen a few people in the US. I've not seen this in India till now. I may have not seen, at least. There are spots in journals, like huge journals, and they have these med student groups who like try and become the editors for the journals. They are not peer reviewers. They are not like someone who will accept or reject papers that are submitted, because they are not qualified to do that. But they are the people who help in correcting grammatical errors like commas and full stops. They like help in if it's an online journal, they help with the spacing, picture placement, and all that stuff, right? Like all the technical work. And it's nice when they involve the med students to do this, because it's nice to put on your CV saying that I was the editor in so and so journal, right? It's a good thing. So reach out to local journals first and see if that's an option. And if that's okay, try and work there, so that gains as a work that becomes your work experience. And then reach out to international journals saying, I've had work experience as an editor for so and so journal, and now I'm trying to apply for this. So I'm telling you to start from local, because it'll add as your work experience when you're applying to international journals, because I don't know, they have standards and all, and I'm not sure if we all meet that, right? Yeah. It's kind of I wouldn't suggest, or I do not endorse any kind of online research groups where they're all like bunch of 20 people we've never seen, we've never met them, but they all get together and they're like they just give on they have a Google shared document, and they're like you do this, you do that. It's not the best, but if you have no other option, that's a start too. Yeah, it's like in the start of your research career, you will look at number of publications more than the quality. One or two, at least three, four, you will want to collect before you start looking at the quality. It's very good to start looking at the quality of publications from the start, because it helps to like make sure you don't have anything that you don't want to talk about during your interviews. But if you have no other options, look at the number of publications you want and then start with the research groups. It's okay, but do not get caught in scams. Do not get caught with the wrong kind of authors. That's like a very you will have to like do your research before you join the group, if it's all okay, and it's like it's all if you've had good reviews from people who worked with the group before. Yeah. So like I've already spoken about the whole mentor thing, but a mentor, when you're selecting them, make sure that they know your goals. They need not be someone who's also done the same thing like you, like gone to the US or come back from US after their residency, so they know everything about research application and all. They can be someone local and they have different goals from you, but they are like in terms of research, they want to like publish as many papers as possible, and they have good ideas and they're willing to help you, guide you. Those are the kind of people you want to catch, right? Those are the kind of people you want to work with, because they'll be lifelong friends for you. They'll be lifelong advisors for you. Even if you're like in a different place in your career, you can come back to them and ask, I have this problem. I don't know what to do with it. And they'll always give you advice. So it's like, find the right mentor, and then your research career is kind of set, because they'll help you reach out with other people too. They're like, if they have friends who are attendings in the US, they'll help you connect with them. So it's very nice to have a very good mentor with you, but it's not the same for everyone. No, it's not like everybody can go find a mentor. So if you are all in a research group, it helps, because that one mentor can help out 10 of you at least. Like that, try and find people within your circle who's like a nice person who can help you and guide you. When you're like starting out with your research, I would say, especially when you have your projects listed on your Excel sheet or stuff, have projects that are short term, like case reports. They can be written up within like 1 or 2 weeks, submitted and published within like 3 months. That the one project is done and it's published. These are like short term projects. Medium term projects, like they could be case series or systematic analysis, like that. They take you around 6-7 months to start and finish, like publish and all. And then long term projects, like they're like 1 whole year or 2 whole years of data collection, and then analysis, and then publication. So you need to like divide your projects into these kind of stuff, so that your mentor knows that then you also need so many publications within this deadline, and then you also need these kind of publications. So she or he can like plan it out for you and give you ideas, saying that, okay, let's do these case reports first, and then while others collect data for so and so, and then like in the meantime, we'll also submit IRBs for like so many projects. They will help you plan out, if you're like able to tell them or explain it to them, that you need number of projects as well as different types of projects within your deadline. I'm guessing it's all before you apply to your match, right? So before that deadline, you need so many projects submitted, or at least presented, like poster presentation, some kind of conference presentation, and like that. Let's see. You all wanted to know about time management with the research thing. Like I said, I did after my step 1. So during my step 1, I was not worried about research. I did not want to do anything. But after my step 1, I was in my final year and in my internship. That time only I reached out to all my seniors, my professors, and hopefully I was able to like find a nice mentor. My whole internship, I was like, now I have only 1 year left in med school before I graduate, and I need so many papers. I was like, every night duty, I would be working on my papers after my whatever work I had. And that's how I was able to at least like finish and submit most of my work with my affiliation to my med school. And then they all got published kind of during med school and after my graduation. So it didn't matter. If you have a good research group and they're all involved and very interested, just like you all can divide your work so well. So it'll be only like 4 to 8 hours per week. Every day, 1 hour in the evening, whatever work you have, you just have to do that and then update the Excel sheet and you're done. You don't have to like spend 2-3 months sitting every day with your project. It's not like that. It's not like every day it takes up 4-5 hours. No, it's like only the data collection part takes time, but that can be done with like 4-5 people in the patients in the hospitals, and they're like collecting, and they have a goal of like, I need to collect 5 patients today. I need to collect 10 patients today. If it's 5 people doing, you have 50 patients per day, depending on like the case inflow that is also there. If you don't have so many cases of that particular research question, it's not like you can get 50 patients per day, right? 50 participants per day. See, like if you're like first year, second year, no, it's only the only work they'll be able to do is really data collection, and it takes time for them to learn the subject. So as seniors, it is your job to be a mentor for them. hopefully you're able to like guide them so they're able to come up to one. Second is they will be a good resource for you as seniors because they're able to like go beyond the field and collect the data, right? Which is something you may not be able to do with your kind of step one commitments, step two commitments, and USC and everything like that. One at some point I was a graduate and I was not able to go to my college and collect data. So my juniors helped me out so much by collecting data. And like I was able to help them with projects. They were able to collect data for me. That was a nice teamwork. That's it. This one is like this. I think I've explained enough for time management. Hmm. Um, so regarding data, hopefully you all are good in statistics because I was not. It was a learning curve for me. I had to learn a lot, but I was able to download a free app on my laptop and I was good to go. If you're a research professional, like you have a research position in the US, or like in your hospitals, you have computers and they're like just for research, they will probably have IBM statistics app downloaded, like paid for and downloaded. So you can use that. And that's like if you have your data, enter it in that and do whatever tests you need to do. It'll give you the results in like tables and it'll itself form your graphs and everything. So good. Otherwise, you have to find some kind of free app online and then learn your stats and that too, like on that app, you have to learn how to do your stats. It's like each app has a different way to do stats, like they have different instructions and all, so it's a bit of a hassle, but you'll get there. It's like only a few like IBM statistics. I think there's one called Blue Sky. They're all very popular, so you if you learn one of those, definitely anywhere you land up they'll have one of those, so you'll be like, yeah, I know it already. There are so in US, I noticed that they have this databases where they enter data and then you can export into Excel sheets from those databases. They contain like they use those databases because those databases are very they protect the patient information. They're very confidential and stuff like that. Versus an Excel sheet, if you're like entering the data, it's not that confidential. I mean that's how these people here believe, and that's how they work. All hospitals have a separate database, and that is where all the research within that institute uses that database like that. It's not like the electronic system, it's a different database. This is something you will have exposure to if you come here for your USCE or come here for your research. If you have the funding to have license to those kind of databases, good to go. Otherwise, Google Forms are your best friends. Make a Google form. I've like more than going to the patients and collecting data from them and writing it in a notebook, I would say enter it in the Google form so that it'll all get stored in columns. It'll all get stored in a organized way, and then you can just extract it into your Google Sheets and then copy paste to your Excel and do your stats on your Excel too. The more data you collect, like it needn't be just results for this test, and that is your research question. It can be a little bit broader so that you can branch out from one research question and at least come up with 2 or 3 papers with just one data collection that you've done over the 6 months, right? So it's not like this data collection is only for one project. With the same data collection or with the same data that you have, you can come up with different projects. They will all be IRB approved with the first project because it's just different results being described and different titles for the project. It is not like a whole different project itself. So with one IRB and one set of data collection done over a period of time, you should be aiming to at least branch out and come up with 2 to 3 papers. So that's a very yeah. So where was I? Writing your results, right? So learn to write your results in a way which like when people want to read your paper, they will go to your results first and then look at your conclusion, and that's it. That's how most people do literature search with and then cite your paper. So your results part have to be very well in detail that's when people will like take your paper and cite it. And that's what you want, right? Once your paper is published, you need the citation to be done in as many papers as possible. So if results are the stuff that they're going to look at, then you need that should be the best part of your paper. A lot of people try and write their discussion very well. At the end, nobody reads your discussion as much as they read your results. So you have to concentrate on writing your results part of the paper more than anything else. It can be like, it doesn't matter if your discussion is good or bad, but your results is the one that will like, that's how people judge how good your paper is or how good your project actually was. That's it. And let's see. I'm not able to. Okay. Anyways, after this, I was going to talk about research in US, the pathways and all that. If you guys are applying for internal medicine, neurology, pediatrics, and stuff like that, family medicine, pathology, I would really say that research is not the only way or like a very important factor, research here in US, I mean, because it involves time, it involves a lot of money, and it also involves effort. With the amount of research that you can do within your med school and then your US clinical experiences and a good application, you're good to apply in your first application cycle itself. But if you feel like you're lacking in some other areas of your application, or like you've had no exposure to research, or if you want to actually experience research in US, good, go ahead, apply, and then join, do your research and then apply. Whereas for surgical specialties, definitely consider doing a research year, at least like 12 to 18 months before you apply, because it kind of builds a good networking system for you. It builds good communication skills, and it builds, people will get to know you. You won't be an immigrant who's applying and they don't even know you, and they're like, I don't know this person, how do I even give them an interview? They'll be more like, I worked with this person, let's give him an interview, let's give her an interview, and let's see how she's doing. And it kind of is an advantage for surgical applicants more than other kind of applicants. Yeah. Second is, how do you find research, how long it takes and all that, right? Hopefully you all start applying for research soon as you finish your step 1, because a lot of institutes require step 1 completed before they take you in as research trainees, research professionals, research fellows. There are different names. It doesn't matter. Just email them asking for research.
Dr. Sandhya,
Yeah.
sorry for interruption. Your presentation is not visible to our screens.
I do not have another slide for research because
yeah, so no problem.
Yeah, I am employed as a research trainee. It's not like I can be sharing about how to apply. There are some constraints for me, so I don't have a return slide on research. Anyways, so you'll just have to email saying, I'm looking for research positions. That is enough, because each institute has their own terms regarding research positions. Second is, how do you find your mentors? When do you apply and all, right? It takes around 1 or 2 years before you actually land a research position in 70% of the cases. Rarely you'll come for a US clinical experience, you'll find a mentor, and then immediately it'll click. So always, like, even before your US clinical experiences, start emailing, and hopefully they'll reply within like 1 or 2 weeks. That's rare, very rare, but it takes at least 6 months before you get your first reply, and they're like willing to give you an interview and see like if you're good for their projects. How do you find your PIs? I would have mentioned that have email alerts from PubMed for specific niche topics, right? Look at the authors. Are they US based? Do they have funding to conduct their own research? Look at their look into the university website and see what kind of projects that author has been doing. They will be your potential PIs. So first thing is, start from the kind of papers that you read. Look at the authors, list them out, see if the same author has been repeating in a few papers. Email them, tell them in your email saying that I've been doing work on this project in my med school, and then during the literature search, I came across your papers, and I actually had a bunch of papers of yours that I was reading, and I found that you've been working on this specific topic for so long and your work is amazing. I would like to learn from you. I would like to join your lab or something. So if there's any research position opening up, please let me know. This is a very general email, but yeah, be specific, be more professional, and email them. This is how you find your PIs. One way. Second way is like if you don't have a specific niche topic that you're looking at, or like you're not like very focused like that, go broad. Look at all the universities that are highly funded. Small community programs are not funded for research, obviously. Big, very big programs. You needn't be like, I want to, if I do research there, will I match that? That need not be your goal. You can like be doing research from a huge program and then apply and match to a smaller program. It's okay, doesn't matter. But it has to be a highly funded program because a lot of PIs there will have funding to do projects. So one institute, you can email a lot of people, right? Look at their projects. If they have funding, email them. They'll have sometimes they'll even like put it out on Twitter or LinkedIn saying, I'm looking for researchers, research trainee fellows, whatever. Catch them, email them, have email Twitter alerts for so and so profiles. If they post something regarding an opening, email them. Follow them on Twitter, follow them on LinkedIn. Do not badger them. It will lead to a very negative review because they discuss about you guys. They will be like, this person texted me. Did they text you? Oh yeah, they texted me too. And they're like comparing the texts and they're like comparing the emails and like it's the same. So they'll be like, this guy's just flake. Email them personally, email them different emails for each person. Like the CV will be the same, I know, but the kind of email that you write has to be different for each person and it has to be specific for that person. So it's like you put in your work, you put in your, you've done your research about that person and that's why you want to work. And when they interview you, they'll ask you like, the first question they'll ask you is like, why do you want to work with me? Like what about my work that you like, that you like, you're willing to come to the US and work for 1 whole year and put in your time and effort. So be prepared for that. On LinkedIn and Twitter, please reach out to doctors, like start reposting their posts and then like comments and all. Start interacting, build a professional LinkedIn profile and a Twitter profile. And like there needn't be a one profile only on Twitter. You can have a personal Twitter account and a professional Twitter account. So on your professional Twitter account, make sure to like share about your projects, share about your achievements, build a nice, it has to like kind of match with your resume, saying whatever achievements you've done on your resume. It's all like, I've done this today on your Twitter. They'll come and check. They will check your social media. So make sure your Twitter account is good, your LinkedIn is good, and there's nothing else that you don't want it to be out there on social media. And this way you will like find a lot of PIs. Hopefully like you collect 40 to 50 PIs and email them. It is a huge task, I know, but if you're really interested in doing this, it takes so much effort just to like apply. Once you've gotten your position, it's all hopefully it's smooth sailing from then. The visa situation is like, you guys will come here on J1 research visa. It's like once you're appointed, the institution, someone from like the supervisor group, they'll text you, the HR will text you, and then you'll send in your documents. You should be graduated, hopefully. If you're not, if you're able to take like a break from your med school, you are willing to go as a student researcher. That is even more better. That's like you've done so much, very good. But if you've graduated, it's good because like you can extend and extend and extend how much ever you want until you like match. You'll be on J1 research visa, and then you will shift to J1 clinical visa, like physician visa, once you match. So that's a visa situation you'll have to figure out on your own. And then you might be paid, you might not be paid. I cannot guarantee you a paid position. I am myself unpaid, so it really depends on your PI if he has the funding to pay you. It really depends on the institute if they are like funded enough to pay the researchers, or like if they have a rule saying the researchers will not be paid. It's a unpaid position only. You have to mention it in your email that you are willing to take up an unpaid position, or at least like you're hoping it's also a paid position. based on your personal situation. Other than that, you have to like tell them I am willing to commit at least 6 to 12 months or 18 months for this project. So they're like, okay, I have a person for next 18 months. I don't have to worry about data collection or anything like that, right? So that's like if you give them a time frame within like your timeline whenever you're applying for the match, they'll be able to select you, or like they'll be able to consider you more as favorable person than another applicant. So structure your email very well, because that's the first, that's your that's the face of your application actually. So yeah, your work in the US for research depends on what kind of project you're working on. It can be anywhere from data collection. Every day you will be looking into the EPIC electronic system and then you'll be collecting data, or else it might be working with lab animals. Every day you will be collecting data by taking samples, doing small procedures on them. And then it will mostly be data collection, because that is where the actual doctors over here don't have time for. You will not be involved in direct patient interaction. It will be more like a supervised patient interaction or no patient interaction at all. It is like there are rules that as a researcher you cannot observe or shadow your physician, but a physician's letter of recommendation after your research year, like your PIs, will be considered as a research letter of recommendation, not a clinical letter of recommendation. So you'll have to consider all this. If you're going to be spending 6 months to 18 months over here, you have to plan accordingly. Hopefully that covers all. That's all I had prepared. If you guys have questions, I'm ready to take, and hopefully I have answers. Let's see.
Okay, Dr. Sandhya, someone asked how many publications are average to apply to internal medicine?
First of all, I am not an internal medicine applicant, so I have no idea. One. Second is, I have known people with 0 publications apply and match, but it's very, very risky. At least aim for like 5 to 6 publications. It's not like publication as such, no? If you've seen your ERAS application, it's not a publication kind of heading, whereas it's like research experiences, and you don't have to fully publish the work. You could have just presented it at conferences as a poster or an oral presentation, and then be like it is yet to be published, and that's enough. So 5 or 6 research work experiences is more than enough. If you do aim, like if you want to have publications, at least 1 is definitely a mandate, right? Yeah. That's all I have for internal medicine. I'm sorry. Next up, anything else? Okay. Does the number of authors per paper affect the value it adds to your profile? So there are journals who specify that this will be the author limit, and case reports 5 authors, original papers 20 authors, that's okay. It does not matter how many authors are there in your paper. More so, it matters where your name is on the author list, right? So try and definitely make sure you have at least 1 or 2 first authored papers. That's more like, that number matters more than the total number of authors. Have a first authored paper, 1 or 2, and then second author paper, the first 4 position. So okay, from my experience in med school, all my seniors, the HODs and everyone, they'll put their names on the first, and then the med student's name will be at the last. That is how it has been. Very funny, but they'll all like to put their names in the first, and that's how it was. In the US, completely opposite. The last name is very important because that is the PI's name. So in every paper that you see, the last name is actually the most senior author, the most important person, the main person in this project. And the first four authors are actually like the med students and like research trainees like me. And it's funny because when they look at my papers from India and they're like, oh, you are the last author. Why? How did you get to be the main person of this project? And I have to explain it to them that the order of authorship in India is different than in US. So if you're like targeting the whole US pathway, make sure you fall between the first four authors. That number matters more. After the first four, wherever you are, it just counts as one of your research works, but the significant work will be within the first four. Yeah. Being the corresponding author is like it shows that you had the responsibility of submitting the paper. It shows that you had the responsibility of every time the journal editors like review your paper, send in the comments, you've had to like edit it and resubmit it within the deadline. And you took up the responsibility within the group to submit and get it published. So having one or two as your corresponding authors in your resume shows that you are a person who wouldn't mind taking up the responsibility. That is all it is. It is not like you get connections or whatever. It just shows that. Let's see what else.
I guess we don't have any questions. So
That's
I guess we should wind up. And thank you so much, Dr. Sandhya, for joining us. And thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of our webinar. And also, we will be sharing our Google Forms with you all on the WhatsApp group. Kindly fill those as it obviously help us to do better in the future. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Sandhya, for your precious time. And thank you so much, everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandhya, for joining.
It's okay. I hope it was all helpful and I did not like go on and on about useless stuff.
No, I think it was wonderful and we all learned a lot.
Thank you.